booster of them.
Southampton 2, Plymouth 1 is a...
Forward to seeing Talamovic attacking this way. Go Rovers! You on me!
Is number 5, sponsored by Roberts, Alfie Jones!
Shouldn't be taking it off. Put it in, Adam! Fuck off. Go in! Go! It's pathetic.
That sums us up.
It does.
Tying this front is number 10, sponsored by ATR Building Services, Madalano Traore. And replacing him is number 30, sponsored by Kingston.
He's still there. You dodge him on! It's bread, in Burnley scum. Without trouble, it's bread, in Burnley scum.
Full-time here at the MKM Stadium, and the final score is Hull City 3, Blackburn Rovers 2.
So, home after another disappointing away day for Rovers. Was it 6 losses in 7 now, or 5 in 6? Yeah, just pathetic, really. The first goal and the second goal are shambolic at best. Hyam gets sold a kipper, and I think Pickering should do better as well. He's a really good player, that Delap, and I thought looking at Hyam against Huddersfield, he looked not ready. He didn't look his usual self. Hyam is such a consistent performer when fully fit, and we've rushed him back. There was no need to be starting him when we've got Hill sat on the bench against Huddersfield, against Watford, just nonsensical, really. And I think we've paid the price, really. Obviously, gets that first booking, what was incredibly harsh. The player runs into him. Unless Hyam literally moves himself out of the way, there is no way that player, is getting past him. He turns into him and runs into him. So it was a very harsh booking, but the second was, unquestionably a booking, and he sees a red card, which is probably a blessing in disguise, really. He probably needs that couple of weeks out. Obviously he'll miss Rotherham. He won't play against Cambridge, you would think. And then he can be hopefully fit and ready for the next league game after that, which I'm not sure who we are playing, but it just gives him a couple of weeks to recuperate. But yeah, was so bad for that first goal, Hyam, and that's probably the worst I've seen him defend since he come here. The second, I think James Hill didn't cover himself in glory for that. I think he has to do far more there. Letting the ball bounce for one is just such an amateur mistake for a defender. You never let the ball bounce. And as well as the keeping, the keeper just makes it way too easy. Probably should, come for it, or at least pressure Connolly. Instead, he's running backwards and just gives him all the time he wants, Connolly, to set himself and shoot, I suppose. And as we found out early in the season when he come on and got a couple, he knows how to find the back of the net. In terms of our goals, it's a brilliant ball from Sigurdsson for Sammy's goal, puts him through on goal. He does really well, Sammy, to bring it down and lob the keeper. And then it's another assist for Siggy for Pickering's, and it was a nice finish. But yeah, it just doesn't mean anything when we're conceding goals at the rate we are. We don't score enough to warrant shipping goals and being the team, the second highest team in the league for goals conceded. If it's not Smodic scoring, it's usually never anyone else. So, he's hit a bit of a dry patch now, unfortunately. He's started to be marked out of games, and obviously he couldn't keep up that goal scoring rate he was at. It was never going to last forever, and we're paying the price now, really. I just scratch my head and wonder what's happened to this defence, because we were so solid last season. The problem last season was the goals scored. It was never the goals against. The amount of games we scraped, 1-0 wins, 2-1 wins. We were we had such good game management. The amount of times that we would find ourselves scoring an early goal in the first half, and then just seeing the game out in the second half. And yeah, we'd be holding on towards the end of the game. We'd have all our men behind the ball, but we'd see the game out, and we're just not seeing that at all this season, and I'm not sure why. Yeah, I really don't know why. It's beyond me. But I think Renkin Costello is a big miss. I look forward to him being fully fit and coming back. I think Britain has been poor for a good few games in a row now. Obviously, that all started really with the red card at Southampton. But, since his return as well, he's not been good. And even before the red card, really, he's not been good for a while now. He started the season really well. We were playing him at left back and, playing Renkin Costello as well, just to get Britain in the team. That's how good he was playing, but as of late, he's been really poor. Hyam, as I've said, doesn't look match fit. Hill wasn't great today and hasn't been great for a while, but neither is Carter. It's a shame Scott Wharton got injured when he did, and he can't pass a ball for toffee, but in terms of his defending, he was probably the best defender really against, your Watfords and your Bristols. He did quite well, to be fair, in terms of his defensive duties. And it was unfortunate he got injured when he did. So hopefully when he is back, he does get another chance to come in, because Hyam, Carter and Hill just look way off it right now. Pickering, with his defensive duties today, didn't cover himself in glory either. As I mentioned, that first goal, it's too easy. And he does get the second goal, to be fair, but yeah, I just do not rate Pickering, if I'm honest. And Leo, again, it's just the second goal, it's mistake after mistake, game after game, and he pulls off a brilliant save in the second half. Brilliant, but it just means nothing though when you're conceding such sloppy goals. Really, for one wonder save, there's a really shoddy goal that's conceded, unfortunately. So we move on to Rotherham, and that is a real worry if we lose that game. I think if we lose that game, JDT will. Yeah, there'll be fans calling for his head, definitely. They've not won an away game all season, Rotherham. And, yeah, for him to rock up at Ewood Park and beat us would be sickening. It just cannot happen. And, if we were to lose to Rotherham at home, we would find ourselves in a relegation battle officially, I would say. I think some major business needs to be done in January. We've already pre-arranged a deal with Crewe, and like we did for Harry Pickering, we've got in for a 20-year-old centre-half, £500,000. But it's just not a position we actually need recruiting for, unless we are planning on selling Scott or Carter. I couldn't see us selling Hyam. But unless we're planning on selling Scott or Carter, why we're bringing another centre-half in is beyond me, when we had too many this summer, which is why we sold Ash Phillips. I think it's clear we need a proven striker at this level, and Talalovic was brilliant today, don't get me wrong. It was a breath of fresh air actually seeing someone who resembled a proper striker up front, which we haven't seen for so long now. Just someone who had a presence about him, was coming for the ball, showing for the ball, taking the ball, dribbling, laying passes off, a bit of a presence in the box. It's been years since we've had that, probably since Graham, really. And don't get me wrong, Adam Armstrong was brilliant when he played up front for us, but a proper striker. But is he ready at this level? Clearly not, when, obviously it's took this shambolic run of form for him to finally get a chance. Obviously John Doe doesn't think he's ready. I think he needs to start against Rotherham after tonight. I thought it was really poor that he got hauled off in the 60th. Seemed like a pre-planned substitution really for Ennis. And Ennis did do decent, to be fair, when he come on. But I think Talalovic had to stay on. He was, our main threat really. Probably the best player on the pitch, to be honest, all game. But I think we need that striker, but it's just the money. Who are we going to get? A proven striker at this level, or someone who could prove to be a proven striker at this level, at least has a track record in a foreign league of scoring goals, 20 plus goals. Who we're going to get with the budget we have? We spent $1 million in the summer, which is just pathetic for a championship club. We've just spent £500,000 on a 20-year-old centre half. So how much of our transfer budget do we really have left for a January transfer window? Never mind a summer. So it's worrying. I'd like a left back too, really, because I do not think Pickering's good enough. And potentially another midfielder or a winger. With Ty and Hedges out, Moran's just been getting way too many games, and I was glad to see that Marconde started today. He did all right. Nothing to write home about, but Moran was getting way too comfy, knowing that he was going to be playing week in, week out after putting dreadful performance after dreadful performance up for us to watch. But yeah, I think potentially there needs to be a few outings this January. I think he likes Lewis Travis. I think it's time to move on, personally. I think it's clear that John Doe doesn't rate him enough in that midfield. I think Sondre Shawn, he's a level above Lewis Travis. Travis tried playing that deep line pivot role, and we saw last season, for example, against Preston, he cannot deal with pressure on the ball. He, quite frankly, just shits himself. I think, obviously, and he's tried playing him further up the pitch as more of a box-to-box, and even finds himself practically playing on the wing as that box-to-box midfielder, but he just doesn't have enough going forwards. He can play a nice pass every now and again, and we've seen, the pass that Kevin De Bruyne would have been proud of away at QPR last year. It was sublime, don't get me wrong, but he just doesn't have enough goals to his game, doesn't shoot enough, and those passes just don't come off enough for me, unfortunately. And for someone who, at any other club where he wouldn't be asked to be doing the things he's being asked to do in that pivot role where he's got so much pressure, he has to be good with his feet. He'd be a good asset, but for this Rovers team, and he's been such a good player for so long, I think he's just, we've outgrown him personally, and I think your players like Lewis Travis, who are quite limited and are championship level and are never going to be pushing on for playoff level, they are just championship level players that, one-dimensional. He gets stuck in and he breaks up play, but he just doesn't have much else to his game at all. Sondre, he can find a pass, always passes forward, brave on the ball, can deal with the pressure. Better than Travis at breaking up the play, personally, I think, and, getting stuck in. So I think Travis should go. If we can get a couple million for him, I'd be more than happy with that. And I think if we're going to persist with Leo, I think Pears has to go. I just do not see the point in having two number ones, essentially. And obviously, Pears is Leo rather is the future. So it just makes little sense, really, to keep Pears about, doesn't it? So yeah, I think if we can get 3-4 million in for the pair of them, potentially open up some money for us, and then potentially get a striker in that way. But I do not see any other assets in the squad that I would want to sell. Maybe Marconde, but how much money would we get from realistically? None of the defenders I would really want to sell other than Pickering, but we've just got renewed his contract, so that isn't going to happen. midfielders. You know, obviously Travis, as I've mentioned. And maybe, you know, you look at Gallagher up front, he's got 6 months left, but how much would we get for a 6 month left Gallagher? You know, we do have that year extension, but personally, I think, considering he's a top earner on 15k, I think we just cut our ties with him this summer, personally. He's a guaranteed injury or 2 a season, and he's a guaranteed 9 goals a season. Never more, never, well, he is sometimes less, but he'll never get you more than 10 goals a season, will he? And yeah, another stupid contract renewal, in my opinion, when we did renew him under Mowbray after 2-3 seasons of underachievement. He was granted a new contract as a top earner for whatever reason. But yeah, on to Rotherham, a must win, a must win, just to start the new year right and forget about this terrible run of form and hopefully get some bodies in the door, which we desperately need. Start getting players back, like Hedges, who, you know, we've missed so much. Tyrese Dolan, even Gallagher, you know, he will make an impact somewhat once he's back. And, you know, Joe Rankin Costello as well, he's such a big miss. Just got to hope these players come back and make the difference, and hopefully, you know, you take the rough with the smooth. Hopefully we can go on a really good run to counteract such a terrible run that's seen us free fall down the table. But, you know, we're still only 7-8 points behind Hull, who are in 6th. It all can change so quickly. It only takes a good run of 5-6 games where we get, you know, 4 or 5 wins, and it can change. So time will tell. Let's see how January goes. Let's back JDT. Let's hope for a good result against Rotherham, and we can kick on from there. And yeah, let's see how the rest of the season goes.